I do hope you're well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, today's first story comes from Ordinary Bookkeeper 8115 and says, "Am I the arsehole here for refusing to go to confession so I can take communion in my brother's wedding? I, 31 female, have 3 siblings, 40 male, 38 female, 27 male, and we have a good relationship despite the age gaps between some of us. My older siblings are both married and so am I. The wedding in question is my younger brother's. My younger brother Luke is engaged to his girlfriend of a year, Emma, 28 female. She is nice, I guess, but we have never really clicked and are just polite to each other. Something important is that we are all Catholic, but not really hardcore ones, and some of us are even lapsed. I do believe this whole situation started just when I met her for the first time. I look younger than Luke, and it's always been a sibling joke that I'm truly the baby of the family. Most people that meet us assume he is older than me, but nobody has had issues with it until Emma. The day I met her, she kind of scoffed when I said I was happy the baby had a proper girlfriend. She has this weird thing about being the eldest in her family and refused to believe I was older than her until I showed her my ID. She has been hot and cold with me since then, often infantilizing me or trying to have a sort of boss attitude. I just let her be and usually ignore her since I have no time to try and beg for her friendship, so I'm just polite and civil. Always include her when planning stuff, but don't really make an effort. The family knows about it and we just shrugged it to different personalities. Then the wedding planning started. Emma decided I could not be in the wedding party since I was not married in a church. Fine by me. Then she requested that immediate family submits their dress planning so she could check it fits the wedding dress code. Fine, whatever. You see where this is going, I hope. You'll see I have not gone to confession or have communion in more than a decade. If I go to mass for whatever reason, I'm respectful and simply sit or stay standing during the rites I don't participate on. Well, this is not good enough for her, and she says I need to take communion during her wedding. I said no, and she has not taken it well. For the most part, I avoid her, as I said before, but this time I wasn't going to say yes or risk an issue. I told her for taking communion one needs to go to confession, and I didn't want to. She said all immediate family is doing it, and I will look bad if I don't. I told her sure, fine, and I'll just go have communion in front of everybody, but won't do confession. She said if this was going to be my attitude, I was uninvited from the wedding because I clearly wanted to ruin the day for her. I turned to my brother and told him, thanks, gave him a thumbs up, and went home. My family understand my reasoning and said they respect everybody's choices, but I shouldn't have said what I said. I told them I really don't want to go to the wedding anymore and I don't owe Emma explanations on my life. I only called my grandma because she heard what happened and asked me not to disrespect the church by doing the communion without confession. I promised I wouldn't do it and she is fine with me now. I got a text from my brother wanting to compromise, so I replied asking if the other people lapsed, people are being made to take confession too. He said no because it was only nuclear family members. I find it funny, since all others are clearly older than her, and she just behaves like this with me and the youngsters. Am I the arsehole here? Lucky Effective says, not the arsehole. Who died and made Emma the Pope? I hope he says lol. I will share this particular one with my grandma next time we talk. She is gonna love it. Beautiful Report says, you should alert the priest to her behavior. He will ensure that she stops with her actions. She cannot make rules that do not exist in the church. I will send a quick email to him and let her deal with the consequences of her own actions. Opie says, I actually considered it, but I don't think I will since my grandma might be doing it herself. She has lapsed herself, but didn't want me to be disrespectful. But she knows the priest that will be officiating and is not really happy with all the shit show. Be Charming says, not the arsehole for refusing to go to confession just to take communion at your brother's wedding. It's your personal choice regarding faith, and it's unreasonable for Emma to impose her expectations on you, especially when you have different beliefs and practices. Opie says, I honestly believe it's more her trying to have authority over me than her religious views. My oldest brother finds it ridiculous, but said he would not intervene unless I ask him to, which I appreciate because despite Luke acting like a dipshit, I don't want more drama. And OP's comment there is how it felt to me. It felt like some sort of power play, some sort of control, especially when OP was talking about the oldest. She got some weird thing about being the oldest, which again seems like a control thing. I'm older, therefore I can command you to do whatever I want kind of thing. But for me, I just don't know if it's a part of getting older or what. I don't know if it's just as I'm getting older, but I've got this very like, I can't be dealing with this shit. You know, you crack on, do what you want. If you want me there, come talk to me. But otherwise, yeah, just consider me out, right? The demands are absolutely ridiculous, but Mary says she just sounds like she's being a bridezilla, and it's mixing in with religion, which has created a double whammy effect. Anytime religion becomes part of the equation, you can be certain things are going to be messy, complicated, and there will be no compromises. I don't think you are being the arsehole necessarily, but I know personally I'd feel hurt if my sibling allowed their spouse to step all over me like that. So OP came in with her first update and said things have moved, but I wouldn't call any of this a positive progress. I would like to clear something I kept seeing in the comments. I won't request a special blessing or go in the queue for communion. It isn't about the blessing or the compromise, but the singling me out. Often just stay quiet or take a general family blessing if we go to weddings, etc. Have no issue with compromises. Have an issue with Emma and her ridiculousness. I don't know why she has this thing with me. I do look young, but not like a teen or a child, obviously. She has 2 younger sisters and is very authoritative with them. I've witnesses her being very my way or the highway with younger people, so she has issues for sure. The confrontation from the last post was on Tuesday, and today we had lunch at my grandma's. I think you should also know that my brothers have a tricky relationship, as in they're not as close with each other as they are with other siblings. My brother Robert is a very no-nonsense and he has never been a fan of Emma, but he didn't think he should have to intervene because Luke is an adult and capable of navigating relationships. All this is going to be relevant, I promise. We visit Grandma a lot since she lives by herself, and we truly enjoy her company. Today we were all there because she is over this drama already. After a lunch that was more like snacking, to be honest, she asked us all to clear the air. Emma continued with her rant about me being a disrespectful person and that she was asking the bare minimum from me. My grandma asked why she had no issue with her not taking communion, and Emma said that she was her elder, and for sure her reasons were more than a tantrum like it was in my case. She also repeated that she was asking this of all the siblings, and I was the only one that was being difficult with her tiny request. This is where everything crumbled for her. I mentioned in the comments that Robert is also lapsed and he was already exhausted by this situation. He asked her why she had no issues with him not taking communion, and she looked like a kid that was caught. She didn't have a proper answer. Robert then asked her if she knew why he and Grandma became lapsed. She shook her head and looked at Luke for help. Luke, on the other hand, was staring angrily at Robert, and I said nothing. Robert explained to Emma that he was the reason Grandma became lapsed. When Robert was a teen, he came out as gay and was worried about our grandparents' reaction, since they were very active in the Catholic Church. Grandma felt awful about it, and even worse when she went and spoke about this with the then priest of her church. That priest was super old school and told her that Robert was committing sins, he was going to hell, he needed to find his way, the whole 9 yards. Grandma didn't take that so well and simply stopped going to church and started spending that time with her grandchildren. Over the years, she started getting into the whole community again, but she decided she was done taking sacraments. She respected parts of the church, but can't fully reconcile with it. Emma was a bit confused since Robert is married to a woman. He explained he is bisexual and ended up with a woman just as he could have ended with a man. He also commented that they are not married in the church, but that didn't matter to her, like it mattered when it came to me. He asked her directly what was her problem with me. Long story short, she said I was rude since the beginning and kept treating Luke wrong. Oh, and I was also very snarky about looking younger than her. Crickets. She is a beautiful, successful woman, so I still don't understand her obsession, but it seems like she wants people to see I respect her and what she says. I just started laughing. She started crying and saying I turned my grandma against her. My grandma told her to stop blaming people for her being a negative person, and she was always going to side with me over her. Luke got upset at that and asked why she was not supporting him, and she simply said she doesn't support him being a lapdog for a crazy woman. More was said, nothing got truly resolved. I was kind of invited again but declined going. Grandma is undecided if she wants to go at all. Elder siblings told Luke they will go to the ceremony if he seeks couple status.